Join me for my walk as I go to the post office to deliver some packages. In this video, I want to talk about some of the weirdest 5 top weird symptoms of type 2 insulin resistance. And some of these you may have heard of, some you may have not. These are things that I experienced over the last 2 years. And at the end of the video, I want to show you how I got rid of 99% of the symptoms in general. If you're new here, this channel is about self-improvement, whether that be about relationships, career, health, weight loss, spiritual growth. So it's all things self-improvement. I weighed myself this morning and I'm 205 pounds. So I've lost a total of 115 pounds over the course of the last 11 months. Super happy, super stoked about it. My highest weight was 320 pounds. I was miserable. My feet were swelling and I just felt like crap. Actually, through my whole life, I've never been diagnosed. It never showed up in my blood work that I was insulin resistant and that I had high sugar. There's other tests that doesn't show up in normal blood work that will show that you're, pre-diabetic or type 2 or getting close there. Be stressed before you watch this video that, of course, I'm not a doctor and that you need to consult with your doctor before making any medical decisions or any changes in your diet or your medication. So please consult with your doctor. So top 5 of the weirdest type 2 insulin resistant symptoms are: number 1, poor mobility and poor balance. I noticed when I was driving and then when I would park somewhere that I never could get my car in a straight line anymore. I would literally back up and back in and a quarter of my car would still be over the line, way over the line. And I'm like, this is weird. Why is this happening? When I was coaching a youth basketball league and I would try to start shooting, the court would just swirl around me. I had super bad reflexes and a ball could be way away and then I would flinch. And I noticed when I would notice right before I would go inside my door and I would look at my key, I literally would lose my balance and my world would be like just rotating. And I knew there's something off, and it wasn't something that would go away in a week, it just stayed there for months. You'll learn that type 2 affects the nerves and affects the blood vessels and blood circulation all the way from your feet to your head, and it affects your brain, it affects your kidneys, it affects your limbs, your legs, your arms. It's almost like a slow cooking that's cooking your cells over a long period of time. Number 2, brown patches and skin tags on your neck, on your underarms, and then on your knuckles. A year ago, I didn't even realize it, and then I was reading something online, and I was looking in the mirror, and sure enough, I noticed I had skin tags and a ring around my neck. And it's like a brown bronze ring. It just didn't seem normal. And then you'll notice with your hands, your knuckles will be like a brownish color. That's basically sugar damaging your blood vessels in your limbs and around your body. Number 3, and this is one that happened a little bit early on, about a year before I started on my diet, losing sensation in your hands, fingers, and feet. So I would wake up 3 or 4 times at night and my hands were completely numb. Be in that halfway dreaming state to where I was actually dreaming that I had lost my fingers and that it was over with for my fingers. And I would wake up and I would start grasping and it would take literally 2 or 3 minutes to start getting blood back in my fingers. Well, that never happened before. And I know a lot of people have that more with their feet, but for me, it was my fingers. And I would notice when I would play video games, I would notice that the end of my fingers were tingly, and it was like I wasn't getting enough feeling to it. I would open up a package of food or something like that, and I couldn't do it. I would literally try to rip it open, and I just didn't have enough strength in my fingers. We know the reason behind that is because your nerves are being damaged slowly to your fingertips, all the way to your feet, your kidneys, your brain. Every organ it affects. Type 2 affects every organ of the body. Our limbs, our feet, and our hands are furthest away from our heart. So it's getting the most damage out of your body. Number 4 of the weird type 2 symptoms that you may have, and this one took me a long time to figure out. It's basically swelling and edema in your feet, legs, and in your hands. Blood circulation gets impeded and your blood's not circulating as good because your blood vessels are being damaged slowly by type 2. That makes blood not be able to circulate up and down your legs and up and down your hands as easily. This symptom actually for me started 5 or 6 years ago.
Here's my feet. As you can see, my ankles and my feet are swollen. They almost look like friggin' logs.
And they would get swollen, and I would take things out of my diet. I would do a vegan diet, I would do a carnivore diet, I would do these different diets, and they would all work because somehow it was restricting sugar. You know, if you eat an all vegetable, vegan, fibrous diet with no carbs, you're taking a lot of that instant sugar out of your body. And of course, carnivore is self-explanatory. You don't get sugar at all in a carnivore diet. So then last year, before my diet, my feet, my legs started turning a little bit purple. Well, that's just self-explanatory. Your legs are starting to get damaged. Your skin's starting to get damaged just because they keep swelling up and down. And of course, it was impossible for me to put shoes on. I would put these long, heavy socks on me to try to protect my skin a little bit. I haven't had swollen feet now for 4 months, and it's been awesome. It's been awesome not to be thinking about that and constantly worried about my body and my legs and my feet. Number 5 of the weirdest symptoms you can get from type 2 is just slow wound heal. I had a blister on one of my heels that was rubbing against my shoe as I was trying to walk and exercise, and it went through the skin. The wound went through the skin, and that thing would never heal. And I still have a scar to this day from it. It's healed, but you can see the brownness of it. It would go on for months and months and not be healed. And it would still be tender after several months. So if you have wounds that are very slow to heal, and whether it's on your feet, legs, hands, or your body, it's the same issue. You're not getting good circulation. Your blood vessels are being damaged. You're not getting proper blood flow and nutrients and circulation to all tissues of your body. Now, before I show you what I did in the last year to remedy 99% of all those symptoms and reverse insulin resistance and start living a healthier life, let me give you a few other common symptoms that you may have with type 2 that you might know of. One would be excessive thirst and then excessive urination. Well, you're thirsty because you're urinating all the time. And the reason you're urinating all the time is because your body's trying to get rid of the sugar out of the body. It's the only way it knows how to get rid of that sugar. It's the reason you'd wake up in the middle of the night and need to urinate. You go urinate, and then 5 minutes later you need to urinate again. It's because your body's trying to get rid of that sugar. Your liver's not processing the sugar any longer. Another symptom would be a beer gut, a beer belly. And the reason that is just because your body is not able to get rid of that sugar. Before insulin resistance, your body's starting to use that sugar to make fat. And that's the only way that the liver knows how to process and get rid of it. So that's the reason you get a big old belly, fat arms, fat legs. It's just because your body can't process all the sugar that, number one, you're consuming, and now that your body can't regulate any longer. Another symptom is memory loss. I would forget things. I would forget where I put things. I'd get confused. I would forget how to say words. I wouldn't know what to say sometimes. Severe dizziness. Over a year ago, I was in my chair playing video games, and my vision became so blurry for like 30 seconds to a half a minute. My vision became so blurry for like a minute. I couldn't see anything. I was so scared. Extreme fatigue, where when you wake up in the morning and then you're walking, you feel like that you're just so weak, even though you just ate. Your cells have no energy. Your body's not being fueled. It's being damaged by the sugar. High blood pressure is another bad symptom of type 2. My blood pressure sometimes get up to 180 over 90. I was just chalking that up to just being overweight. Being overweight is a symptom of type 2. Damage that you're causing your blood vessels, blood flow being stopped, is making your blood pressure skyrocket and get real high. Always wanting to eat, and it's usually a high carb food that you would start eating. You'd fill yourself up with a carb. 30 minutes later, you'd want to refill up and eat again. So those are just a few symptoms, and I want to tell you what I did in the last year to reverse 99% of those symptoms. Again, I'm not a doctor. After not being able to take it any longer, getting up to 320 pounds, feeling miserable, I was just researching like crazy to see what I could do to help myself. Ran across a few doctors on YouTube that helped me out a lot. One specifically, Dr. Stephen Gundry, Plant Paradox. He basically says you need to take lectins out of your diet Lectins is a plant protein that's found in foods like wheat, corn, sugar, green pepper, peanuts, cashews, and those foods will cause leaky gut, and it will cause your brain to be hijacked and want all these sugary foods. Then along with Gundry, I watched other doctors on YouTube like Dr. Eric Berg, Dr. Barry, and a few others, and they gave me really good direction. And following their advice, along with my doctor, I started an OMAD diet. That's 1 meal a day. I would eat a 1,500 calorie meal in the evening, and that's all I would eat. And then maybe during the day, I would have like black coffee and nothing else, no calories. It was difficult at first. I was getting a little bit weak, not because I was hungry, but because my cells weren't getting fueled because of insulin resistance. Being on the OMAD diet for 11 months, it's gotten easier and easier and easier. And now I don't even think about it. And some days, I don't even want to eat one meal, because my body is so efficient right now at burning my fuel cells and being on ketones and living off the nutrition that I've been given it. I don't feel hungry whatsoever. Following the OMAD diet and the plant paradox, I'm also on a keto diet for the most part. Not heavy keto. I don't eat just bacon and sausage. I rarely eat bacon and sausage. But what I'll do is I'll eat high-fat foods, healthy foods, fatty fish and fatty steak once in a while. So I'll consume a lot of olive oil, sesame oil, avocados, macadamians. That keeps me satiated throughout the day, plus a lot of high fibrous foods, leafy greens, tubers, carrots, things that don't have lectins in it, cabbage, kale, okra, and I'll pan fry it with some sesame oil and might throw some shrimp in there. That fiber from leafy greens, I'm feeding my good gut bacteria, and if they're happy, I'm happy. Now I'm off of all medication. I don't have high blood pressure any longer. My blood pressure averages about 115/70. My heart rate's about 60. And I feel like I'm just so happy and I have so much energy. And now I don't have any bad days. Starting out on this diet a year ago, I would have 4 or 5 bad days out of the 7. I'd feel weak 5 days out of the 7. And I would think that this would never end. And then after a couple months, it went down to 3 bad days. Then up to a month ago, it would be just 1 day. But fortunately, in the last month, I haven't had 1 day that I was weak, that I was tired. I'm feeling happy, able to go for walks. I'm able to go to the mall. I'm able to shop with my daughter. I'm able to enjoy life and feel just great in the mornings. I'm not having any weak days. I take a lot of supplementation. I get a lot of vitamin D. I get a lot of sunlight as much as possible. So the damage that type 2 has done to my nerves with my fingers, from my eyes to my kidneys, throughout my whole body, I do take supplements, mostly vitamin B supplements. So the ones that I take is beef liver supplements. So anything that has liver in it, beef liver, chicken liver, is super good, and it's got a lot of vitamin D, and it's good for your nerves to help repairing it. 2 that Dr. Berg recommends, benfotiamine, that's a synthetic vitamin B supplement, and alpha lipoic acid. And when I started taking more alpha lipoic acid, I take about 600 milligrams a day, and that has really uplifted me, and that's when I started having 0 days with any symptoms. What these vitamin B supplements do in beef liver is it slowly repairs your nerves and the damage that you've done to it. The nerves being repaired into your fingers and your eyes and your kidneys and your brain, they're being repaired, but being repaired super slowly. Super slowly. It won't happen overnight. It will take months. So now my fingers never fall asleep at night. I'm able to grab things and cuff things, and I don't have any weakness. I don't have any brain fog. I'm never getting dizzy. When I park, I'm parking normally. And that's like a miracle. The body will heal itself, and there's no easy fix. But thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I try to make videos every week. Smash the like button, and better and better.